I saw many happy people. I think I felt really like organic is going a good way. After COVID, we're going a good way. So I think it's really stimulating. And then, yes, we start this Congress, the first content session on the market development, which makes sense, of course, because we are at the business fair, the Bio Expo. It's about market, it's about buying and selling. And it's also important to talk about markets, because organic is a farming system. And it's a farming system, but it delivers a lot of public goods and good food. And because of the public goods it delivers, it attracts a lot of interest from public policies, from public services. It is already mentioned two times. Oh, sorry. I have to talk. Thank you. It attracts a lot of interest from policymakers. It is already mentioned 2 times in this short start of the conference, the farm to fork strategy, with the ambition to have a 25% organic area. The CAP that has a potential to be very beneficial for organic farmers. The Organic Action Plan, which is meant to stimulate organic farming, also because of the goods it delivers. And if you heard Mr. Kaminski, he already is taking the opportunity to announce some really good plans. That's really good and very important, but organic cannot really grow if there is no market. I mean, it makes sense. So we need consumers who want to buy the products, and they need to know it. And the market is also depending on other things in the environment that may change. For instance, the new organic regulation that was mentioned, it may have an impact on the market that we cannot completely foresee yet. And in this session, we will explore what's to come there. And like Eduardo said, we will focus a lot on the data. And I will not do that myself, but we have 2 really good speakers in this session. And I will introduce the first one, which is Helga Willer from the FiBL. She will give an update on organic market data. After that, we will have Krystyna Radkowska from the Polish Chamber of Organic Food, Organic Agriculture. And I will invite you all to ask questions from the audience by putting up your hand, and from the people out there by in the question and answer vision on the right side of your computer screen. And we will do that after the 2 presentations have been held. So if everything is digitally ready, to Helga Willer.
Yeah. You can hear me? Yeah, I would like to thank you very much for the invitation to speak at this conference. Yeah, and I will present you the latest data on organic markets that have recently come out. And yeah, can you show the slides? Yeah, next, please. Yeah, we are doing this data collection, the framework of our annual survey on organic farming data worldwide. It's an activity that's funded by the Swiss government and the UN organization ITC, also by Coop and BioFach, as well as the IFOAM Organics. And we've done that for more than 20 years. And as part of this global data collection, we also collect European data. Next. Yeah, this is, oops, that's too fast. Yeah, this is the status of organic agriculture in the European Union, 2019. Yeah, these are just the key data. More than 14 million hectares, more than 8% of the farmland organic, more than 300,000 producers, and organic market of more than 40 billion euros, and the most important countries in terms of market size are Germany, France, and Italy, as well as and the country with the highest market growth in 2019, that was France, that grew by 13%. Okay, more. Next. Whoop. Can you move back to the growth? The previous, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is, that shows you how the organic farmland has grown in the European Union in the past, since 2000. And you can see that more than 14 million hectares are organic, more than 8%, and we've seen single-digit growth rates in the past years. And in 2020, the development was a bit uneven, as far as I can see for the moment. We had strong growth in France and in Spain, but not so strong growth in Germany and Austria. And in Austria, the area in 2020, for instance, grew by just 1%, whereas the market increased by 18%. Next. Another observation is that we see that organic farming production patterns are getting a bit more diversified. We used to have a lot more organic grassland grazing areas in the past, but now the organic arable land is taking over, actually showing for the whole view that organic farming is getting more diversified, and also maybe showing that local production is getting more important. Next. And here's our global chart of the countries that have more than 10% organic farmland. And if you see that Liechtenstein is the country in the world which has the highest share, 41%. But then comes Austria, which already now has 26%. So that's more than the EU goal. And then we have Estonia and Sweden, and also further European countries like Finland, Slovenia, and Slovakia. These all have more than 10%. And if I counted right, more than 10 countries have more than 10% organic farmland in the EU. Okay, next. This is, now I come to the retail sales, to the market. Here we can see the in 2019 how the organic market is distributed over the world. You can see the United States has more than 40% of the global market in terms of retail sales in value, and the EU about a bit less. Okay, next. And this is the growth of the organic market. You see there's been steady growth, and the growth has been faster than that of the farmland, the growth of the retail sales. And and in the EU we had 38 billion. This is now without the UK. We have a statistical problem there. We have to recalculate everything now. And you can see the first data for 2020 show that there has actually been quite a big increase. We don't have final figures yet, of course, because not all countries have supplied their figures yet. Okay, next. And this is how the development of the organic market in Germany. And there you can see quite clearly that something happened in 2020. There, because of the COVID crisis, the market grew a lot faster than in the past. It increased by 20%. Next. And these are the here I compare the growth of the organic markets in the different, for the countries where we have data. You see Germany grew in 2019 by almost 10%, but into 2020 by more than 20%. Switzerland grew by 8% in 2019, and in 2020, in the Corona year, 20%. Austria, similar. So we've had a far stronger growth of the retail sales in that year. Okay, next. And that is, of course, same for the per capita consumption. That's grown fast in 2020. Denmark is the country in the European Union, but that has the highest per capita consumption in the EU. It's 350 euros per person, followed by Austria, France, and Germany. Next. And there we see the market shares. Denmark has almost a market share of 13% now in 2020. And also, of course, you see also in this graph, you see the growth. Switzerland 11%, Austria more than 11%. So many countries have gone through that 10% mark now. Okay, next. And for eggs, for instance, this is a very popular product. These shares are far higher. In France, for instance, 37% 7% of the egg value of all eggs sold are organic eggs, and other countries have quite impressive numbers as well. Okay, next. Yeah, I wanted to briefly have a look at the imports to the European Union. We have very good data now from the European Commission that collects these data, and you can see that the European Union imports products from almost all countries in the world. Next. Yeah, but what we see here that we have a stagnation of the imports. The imports are not really growing. Actually, they went down a bit between 2019 and 2020. Next. And here you see the countries that export most. That's Ecuador, Dominican Republic, and China. The first two is mainly tropical products, bananas. And then the biggest importers are Netherlands, Germany, Belgium, France, and Italy. Okay, next. And if you look at what we import in the European Union, we see that a quarter is tropical fruit, and that's mainly bananas from Latin America. And then oilseed cereals and also dry pulses are quite important. So, of course, also coffee and cocoa. But yeah, so we have some very clear import products. Next. And here you can see that Ecuador is pretty specialized in its exports to the European Union. 91% of the exports are bananas. And next. And for Ukraine, it's mainly cereals, oilseeds, and dry pulses. So it probably a lot of this feedstuffs. Next. Yeah, now back to what happened in the Corona year. In Germany, we had this huge rise in organic consumption. The organic market grew double as fast as the general food market, but also production costs increased because of hygiene, new distribution challenges. But also in Germany, the imports decreased actually. And yeah, we had this growth of 23%. Next. Same in Switzerland, lockdown and home office had a big impact on the market. Next. And United States, same story. The organic food and non-food markets eclipsed major milestones, so huge growth, biggest growth in the last decade. Next. But here's another story from France where the market grew, but the catering restaurants, that actually declined quite a lot. And that was, of course, because restaurants and public food and canteens, they had to close down. Next. Yeah, so yeah, we had these trends of the growing market. Definitely overall we had this, but of course with the growing market, production needs to keep pace. Next. And so here the farm to fork strategy comes in very well, because this farm to fork strategy can, of course, support this development with several measures. And these are this political support. I mean, we have heard about all this from Eduardo and before, and common support under the CAP and the action plan, but we also need the collaboration of all stakeholders. So next. And also from the markets, we actually see signals that there are opportunities to reach the 25% goal. We have this huge market growth. We see that imports are stagnating, so that's an opportunity probably for EU organic farmers. We see a large part of the imports is tropical fruit, which can probably not be replaced by bananas from the EU, but there's also a large part for feedstuffs and cereals where there's probably a potential for the EU organic farmers. So next. Yeah, and but to reach the 20, I said before, the growth rates were about single digit in the past, but to reach the 25%, it probably would need to be 10% each year in the European Union to reach the 25% goal. Next. And for the market share, which is still a bit lower than the organic farmland share, we see that Denmark might reach the 25% goal, but maybe at least the traveling for many other countries is possible. Okay, next. Yeah, so to conclude, in 2019, organic farming continued to grow in the European Union and worldwide, and we reached all-time highs for all key indicators. And in 2020, the area continued to grow like in the previous years, but the market grew a lot faster. And imports remain stable. And that also shows that the European Union is increasing its local production, and public food procurement was on the rise until the crisis. But now we saw there was a drop. But we can't say very much because in the end we don't have many countries have data on that. So that's a big data gap. And and that's not only with the canteens and out of home, but also from many other indicators. We still need more and better data. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Helga. And it was a very high speed, high data intense knowledge. Be sure that you can find a lot of this information on the website of FiBL, where they have this annual report. And I know Helga is already working on the next publication of the World of Organic Agriculture. So, and it gave some really good information also on market developments for the whole European area, with some pinpointing some countries. And if you have questions, please hold them until after the next speaker, because we have from Poland the president of the Polish Chamber of Organic Food, Ms. Krystyna Radkowska. She will tell you about organic in the Polish situation, and also, I think, very data intensive.
Hello. So let me just check if it's working. It's not. Bartko, it's not working. Oh, okay. Good morning. My name is Krystyna Radkowska. I'm the president of Polish Chamber of Organic Food, which this year has the pleasure to co-organize the Organic Food Conference here in Poland together with IFOAM Europe. This year, the Polish Chamber of Organic Food prepared a report on the organic food market in Poland. And this is the first report that approaches this issue so widely and covers agriculture, sales, production, consumers' needs and trends. Experts from all over the industry took part in the making of the report. The full version is available on our website, jemeeko.com. So what was our market like at the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021? Estimated market value in retail prices was 1.36 billion zloty, which is about 400 million euro. We have more than 18,000 organic farms. We have more than 1,000 organic processors. We have almost 510,000 organic areas, but the organic share in arable land is only 3.5. So our road to 25% is very, very long. We have an uptrend, which is 10% per year. It's a big increase, which shows that this market attracts attention in line with global trends. And although the number of organic farms has slightly decreased in the last few years, this is not the result of falling market demand, but of changes in regulations that tightened flow of subsidies for organic production. In short, the number of organic farmers has not decreased, but mostly those who wanted to use grants by taking advantages of a loophole in the regulations have been eliminated. As you can see on this slide, the sales channels in Poland are very diverse. It is estimated that roughly half of the retail sales take place in chains and discounters. Internet sales raised a lot during the pandemic, but specialist stores and ecological bazaars also have a fairly strong position in Poland. We have more than 800 organic stores that have total estimated sales area of 51,000 square meters, but the average value of the receipt is only 16 euro. At the same time, we have 150 organic e-shops, and almost half of them works only online. And how do we look in comparison to Europe and the rest of the world? A Pole spends an average of 8 euro per year on organic food, while the average in the European Union is 76. It shows how long is the road ahead of us. Organic food market has been one of the fastest growing segments of whole market. The growth is continuing also during the time of pandemic. The number of consumers interested in regular organic food shopping is constantly growing. According to research, Polish consumers have very optimistic approach to organic food. They describe it as good for health, safe, natural. Why do the consumers in Poland buy organic food? More and more often, they emphasize environmental and ethical issues. Polish and also European consumers are looking for quality for a good price. They accept higher prices for a product that fulfills their expectations. More and more consumers appreciate such values as environment, animal welfare, and supporting local economy. The interest in Polish origin is growing. Consumers are also interested in shortening the food chain. They want to buy food directly from organic farmers. Polish consumers buy organic food mostly for health reasons. Other reasons are safety, lack of pesticide residues, GMO-free, and respectful for the environment. People between 36 and 55 are driven by the conviction that organic food do not contain pesticide residues. For people from villages and cities under 20,000 inhabitants, the most important reasons for buying organic food are taste and look, presentation of organic food. As you see on the slide, half of Poles do not buy organic food yet. In fact, it applies to different age groups. As for the rate of people buying organic food once a week or once a month, it is also quite evenly distributed across the various age groups. When it comes to the place of residence indicator, it is clearly visible that in large cities, the consumers' awareness and the desire to eat healthy food through the purchase of organic food is growing. Other studies conducted by the research agency IMAS also shows that a consumer in a city distinguishes certified organic food much better from a rural consumer. People living in the countryside often treat their own or neighbors' food as organic. They do not look at certification and eco-labeling. Hence, the results may be distorted by those factors when it comes to indicating the amount of actually organic food buyers in the countryside and in smaller towns. These are the best sellers. These are the results of research conducted in professional organic food stores. Although consumers believe that fresh vegetables and fruits are the least available, these are the categories that are the best sellers and best wanted. It is followed by dairy products, followed by processed fruits and vegetables. In comparison, in large format chains and stores, which is not included in this table here, products for children, beverages, and alcohol are the best sellers. So as you can see, it's completely different. This is a very interesting discrepancy showing the differences in the customer who visits these two different sales channels. To sum up, the organic food market in Poland is developing very dynamically, but it is still far from the European market. I hope that in the coming years, the disproportions indicated in my presentation will decrease and the Polish consumer will gain trust in organic food. The road ahead of us is very long, but I hope we'll get there. Thank you.
Thank you. And please stay somewhere near because we may have questions for you. Okay. So, yes, so thank you, Krystyna. And it's very challenging. And I should say that actually from the Netherlands and Polish, we have a lot in common, because we are also still, our market in organic is really small. We are at 3%. Our agriculture area that's farmed organically is still quite small. So maybe we can team up. Anyway, it's time for the question and answers. I have one question from the chat that I will post to Helga. It's on commodity price level dynamics. It's from Walter Smiltans. He says that commodity prices in conventional are really high. And he was wondering, what about organic commodity price level dynamics? So what is the changes? Does it change very often? And is there a correlation with the conventional commodity price level? So Helga, do you feel free to answer?
I can't answer that question. I can find out more from experts. I know who I would ask, but yeah, if I can come back to you later with this answer, that would be good. Thank you.
It's a promise then. And are there any questions from the public, Mani, to Krystyna or Helga? No? If not, then maybe I have a question for Krystyna, which is more, maybe a bit a political question, but it's, do you think that sustainable products in the end will be recognized by consumers so much that we don't need like politics and extra subsidies to pay part of the prices? We have to change now.
So first of all, I don't know how much time do we have, because our planet is getting out of time, but it will take definitely a lot of time without the help from government, from European Union. Donations, grants, I think are very needed. If we will be able to stop the climate change and we will be able to have some more time to live on this planet, I think that in maybe 10, maybe 20 years, organic food will be very popular, will be one of the most wanted food. Hopefully the only one, but we will see how it will go. So I'm a dreamer, so I would like to say yes, but I really don't know, looking at what we do as people on this planet for now.
Okay. Thank you very much. And it's good. I think we need dreamers, because if you cannot envision it, if you cannot dream about it, it will never happen. So that's good. And maybe one question then to Helga, which is probably our last question. Helga, if you could have and budget and possibilities without end, what data, I'm a bit confused where I have to look, but what data would you really like to collect that you're not collecting now? What do you really need?
Sorry. What we really need at the moment, what we ask for very often, is more detailed crop data, area data on carrots, on tomatoes. That is not available for all countries. And there's a real need to find out how much seed will be needed. And so that's what we hear again and again. Then production data we don't have. I mean, how many tons of what was produced, or we don't have it for everything. And often we also don't know how these production data are calculated. So it would be good to have more data in that area. Then retail sales data are still missing for many countries, and or they are not updated very often. And I mean, we have them for countries like Germany and France, of course, but there's other countries where we're struggling to find them, but maybe we are not, we don't know the right people. But I think there is a huge, huge gap. And to talk about the growth of the European market is a pity if we don't have everything. Then we don't have export data for the European Union. We have great import data, but no export data. And we don't have data on intra-EU trade. I mean, what's moving from EU member state to member state. We see that a huge amount of products are imported to the Netherlands, but I suppose they don't stay there. They then distribute to the other countries, and of that we don't have a very good idea. Yeah, that would be my wish list.
Whoa, thank you very much. This was a very nice ending of your... I was actually amazed at how much data there's still missing to make a good analysis and to make a really good, have good insight in market fluctuations and development.
Yeah.
So it's clear there's a need for more data to better understand the market. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will finish this session on the market developments, and I hand over the microphone to Eric Gall, who will join us from the screen for the next session, Organic as part of the solution for the European Green Deal. And I thank you for your attention here and in space.
Good afternoon and welcome.